Hey guys, I just wanted to take a second to ask that if you gain any valuable insight from this episode, that you please share and leave a review. We truly appreciate all the support and would love your help to spread the word. Enjoy the episode.
Please welcome Gorgina Maricich to Back to the Basics. How are you?
Good, I'm good. Hi, I'm Georgie, everybody. Thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for making the time and coming here. It's such an honor to get to spend some time with you. I think I met you in your class.
Yeah, you came to my class about 2 weeks ago. That was a really cool experience, and I learned a lot. So thank you for coming and driving up to San Diego State to teach us a little bit about what you've learned over your time in business and entrepreneurship.
It was my pleasure. And so you're a senior graduating.
I am a senior about to graduate, about 3 weeks. So excited, but really nervous. So
Yes.
that's a big thing. But honestly, I'm so thankful for my time at San Diego State and everything I've learned. So it's coming to a close, but I think it's the time. So it's been a lot of fun. So thank you for having me on the show. My understanding is I'm here to ask you lots of questions today.
It's your show.
Awesome. That's pretty exciting. So this is my first podcast, which is a little bit exciting, but a little bit nervous for it too. I'm a big podcast listener. I was listening to a podcast on the way here. I drive about 25 minutes to school right now. So this year has been all about podcasts. So some of my favorites are How I Built This with Guy Raz.
Yep.
Also, there's one called Heal Thyself. So I'm just curious what some of your favorite podcasts are, maybe just for fun and then also related to entrepreneurship.
Oof. There are so many good ones.
Yeah.
It is really hard for me because I find that I am never caught up.
Okay. Agreed.
I would say these days I spend more time listening to my friends' podcasts.
Okay. That's a fun experience.
It is. I have a lot of friends that do podcasts, and I like to be supportive. And I'm tending, a lot of them are my friends, and so I get to learn little nuggets, from them. And
that's cool.
I want to just be that supportive friend. So some newer ones that I've been listening to is obviously Money Mondays. My buddy Dan Fleischman, investor and partner,
Cool.
he launched that one maybe 2 months ago.
Oh, exciting.
So that's been cool I got to be a guest on it as well, which was fun and hear that. So that was cool. I do like Guy's podcast. I've listened to that a ton. In preparation for my show, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts that my guests have done.
Oh, cool.
So I get to kind of hear about them.
That's fun.
Yeah, and then I listen personally, for fun. I listen to a lot of investment podcasts.
Okay.
There's Fortune Builders has a really good one on real estate, and I'm trying to learn more about real estate right now, so
Okay.
I've been diving into theirs.
That's cool. I was a real estate minor for one semester, took one class, and it was not for me, but I'm still really curious to learn more. I think the finance was kind of going over my head, so.
That happened to me in accounting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also not the biggest accounting person, but.
Could never
That's
make the
okay.
two sides match.
I know, me neither.
It's frustrating. You're like, add here, subtract here, and it should equal, and it just never did.
I liked building out the tables and stuff and trying to get it to happen. And when it did, it was a good time. But other than that, not for me. So you said investing podcasts are a big thing in real estate. Cool.
Yeah, I look at podcasting. It used to be entertainment. When I first started listening to podcasts, I listened to a lot of sports podcasts, and it was basically my replacement from ESPN because I used to be a big SportsCenter fan, and then I realized I spend so much time in my car. What if I use that time to learn? What would happen?
Totally.
And so I did, and so I started really changing what things interest me that I want to learn about. That's the podcast.
Absolutely.
And so I don't listen to one extremely religiously. I will listen to every episode as soon as it comes out. I listen to a lot of different podcasts, and they're in my rotation. When I'm on an airplane, I get to listen to 3 or 4 episodes of something that maybe I'm behind on.
Yeah.
But I think there's just so many good shows, and I think that I want to learn so many things. So I don't have the time to don't have the time to listen to 25 podcasts, but there's 25 podcasts I want to listen to. So I move them all in based on the current flow. Right now, I'm heavy in real estate in my mind. That's my side learning. And so I'm learning as much from real estate podcasts.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I'll try and on my ways to school, I'll listen to stuff that's really educating me about something that's random or new to me. But then when I'm going on a road trip, I'm like, okay, anything that's in my realm of ESPN type podcast, I'm like, okay, this is my indulgence. It's my listening to TV in the car. So
what is your ESPN type?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm a big fan of Emma Chamberlain. She's a YouTuber turned more fashion influencer / kind of fashion icon. So she's a really calm voice, and she just talks about random stuff. So that's kind of my for fun, but the Heal Thyself, I feel like I learn a lot about like health and wellness and food. And
Yeah, I've never listened to Heal Thyself.
it's pretty cool. It talks a lot about like I've learned a lot about organic foods from that podcast and just kind of like the pesticides in our food. So it's kind of cool because he'll equip me or like any of his listeners with information about, I guess, anything like you could look for in like ingredients in your food, and then he'll give recommendations for some of his favorites. So then when I'm grocery shopping, I'm like, oh, I'll try this kind of protein bar. Like, oh, maybe that one that I thought was really healthy. Like when you read the fine print, it's not. So that's been a cool experience. So I mix it up with that one, and then How I Built This is one I really enjoy too. So yeah.
You should check out David Sinclair has like an 8-part podcast series on longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like in the realm of Heal Thyself.
Okay.
It was really good.
I'll have to listen to it.
Yes.
So congratulations on 50 locations now. That's what I think I saw that on your website. So
60
now.
60.
Okay. So
Yes.
that's a big deal.
Yes.
So I'm curious how the process has been starting out. Like you started with one store and then built to a couple, and then now you have 60 locations. Do you feel like it was harder at the beginning, or is it harder now with so many locations? I know some are franchised, but with more versus just a few at the start.
It's a different hard.
Okay.
At the beginning, it's hard because you don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is new, and you're learning for the first time. This is the first time I'm opening a restaurant. This is the first time I'm dealing with the health department. This is the first time I'm hiring and training and ordering and inventory and controls and. So the first is always hard.
Yeah.
Once you get to scale, it's a different hard. Now it's conformity. Can I get them all to do what they need to do?
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you have too many animals in a pen and they're all going in different directions. You need to control everything down to where you want them to go. Getting your team and having a team that can support that many locations, getting everyone to buy in to the same concept.
Yeah.
Supply chain becomes difficult. Like solving the problems of one store, okay, that's one challenge. Solving the problem of 60 stores, that's a second challenge.
Yeah.
And so being that they're in different markets and they're all over the country, and there's franchisees which are entrepreneurs and they're entrepreneurial minded, and I have an obligation to support them and a responsibility and just all that. So it's a different hard now than it was at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Selfishly, I like the first hard better.
Yeah.
It's a much more linear hard.
Yeah.
But
and you're more in charge too at that stage, which
and I can have more influence and impact.
Yeah. So I know that you had mentioned when you came to our class that like learning from like bigger businesses, or you had found like resources online, whether I don't remember if it was YouTube videos or other like articles about businesses and how they've succeeded and stuff. Have you learned from that in terms of how to have franchisees and like how to have a consistent product? Because I know that that's something that a lot of businesses, especially in food, struggle with, is consistency across like locations and like every like time people visit.
Yeah. So public companies is what I mentioned. Yes. They have a quarterly report.
Okay.
A quarterly call. And every quarter, every 3 months, the leadership team gets on a phone call that anyone can listen to. Yeah. And they have to address their issues, their successes, where they're going, where they've been, why, how, etc.
Yeah.
And so I like to listen to those, because if McDonald's, even though we're a different business than McDonald's and I'm not McDonald's, McDonald's is a quick serve burger joint. I'm a quick serve superfood joint.
Yeah.
If they recognize a challenge in the marketplace like supply chain or technology or inflation or high interest rates or customer behavior changes, and they tell the world about it, that's free information for me.
Yeah.
And I can learn. So I use them all the time. I mean, I definitely will. Right now, it's Chipotle, Domino's, and McDonald's predominantly are the three that I listen to pretty much every quarter. And now that I'm moving a little bit into different arenas inside of what we're working on, I'm starting to listen to a few other style companies, marketing companies that are talking about the marketing changes, because we're struggling with marketing as we grow. And okay, how's the landscape changing with all the different technologies? Is TikTok going to be banned? And if so, what does that mean? And how do the behaviors of the Gen Z, the Gen Y, the Gen X, millennials? So I can learn from them. And I think that that's just something free that we all can use. It's the negative of being a public company. You're public.
Yeah, absolutely. So another thing that you talked about in our class are kind of like your 5 pillars that you personally stick to. I really resonated with those, so I just thought it might be fun to share them today on the podcast.
Sure.
And maybe you can go a little more in depth of like experiences of like how you feel like those have been a value add to your life. And because I really like those and resonated with most of them.
So I call them core values or my success formula. But the first one's make friends.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much depth to that. So often we go through life just passing by all these strangers and acquaintances and not really investing into getting to know somebody.
Yeah.
But everybody has value to bring to your life. And you can learn from everybody. I can learn from you. You can learn from me.
Yeah.
You may have someone in your relationship network that could benefit me and vice versa.
Yeah.
You may be a great fit for the company. I may be a great fit for your company. Who knows?
Yeah.
So by making friends with everybody, I mean, there's 8 billion people on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
We maybe know a couple hundred, and we may know 50 decently well, and we may know 20 really well.
Yeah.
When you think about that, there's 8 billion people. Every new champion that I can bring into my sphere who knows me, loves me, and cares about me, the more lucky I'm going to get, the better my life's going to be, and so on. So making friends has really opened so many doors for me, both from a personal level, I have a lot of great friends, and also from a professional level because I have a ton of relationship capital.
Yeah.
Number 2 is have fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same, meaning I love to play sports. I love to scuba dive. That's a different kind of fun than when I'm selling a franchise or I'm working in the restaurant. But I love the process of startups. I love the process of business. And so I believe if you're not spending your day doing something you love and you're not having fun, you're not going to do it very well. You're going to wait to be done, and you're wasting the day on earth.
Yeah.
Life's short.
Yeah.
And as I'm getting older, I'm realizing I have less days.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what happens.
Yeah.
You come to more of a reality of the facts. And so why don't you do something you really love? And when you do that, you're going to want to be the best version of yourself. You're going to want to learn how to do it better, and you're going to sink your 100 into it. And when you do that, you get the results. So those 2 have always been my non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Every employee who works for me knows make friends and have fun.
Yeah.
The next 3 are much more personal to just how I've been able to be successful. Mm-hmm. And I spent some time looking at what has let me learn how to do new skills, new industries, even things like, being a good friend, being a parent, being a spouse.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but the first one is take immediate and decisive action.
Mm-hmm.
So often we sit on the sideline waiting for the right time.
Yeah.
I'm not ready, and I'll start that next Tuesday. Why don't you start it right now?
Yeah.
I'm not ready. I don't know how. Well, good. Start right now. And as soon as I started taking immediate, decisive action, when an opportunity presented itself, I moved.
Mm-hmm.
I started to just watch all this progress happen, all these results happen, and all these doors open.
Yeah.
And so many people don't take action. And that's the difference. By taking action, you're already ahead of 90% of the population. So now you're already in the 10%.
Yeah.
So now we're in the 10%. How do we get to the top 1%? Well, core value number 4 is Kaizen. Get 1% better every day. I may not be very good today. That's okay. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to take immediate action, and I'm going to try my best. I'm going to have some fun. I'll make some friends, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, if tomorrow I strive to be just 1% better than I was today, I can do that. Those are obtainable goals.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it so scary. How am I going to climb Mount Everest? I'm going to take 1 step today.
Yeah.
I can take 1 step today.
Yeah.
You start doing that enough and you win the day enough times,
Mm-hmm.
eventually I'm going to be at the top of Mount Everest.
Yeah.
I don't know when, but I'll get there.
Yeah.
And so that's very important. And then the last one, and it's never been more important than these last couple of years, is being change ready.
Mm-hmm.
We get so stuck in our ways. I'm not that kind of person. That's not who I am. I don't do this. I don't do that. And even my kids sometimes tell me this stuff, and I roll my eyes because being change ready means the ability to adapt and pivot and grow.
Yeah.
And so if tomorrow the world changes, I have to change. That's the only constant. And I was a teenager in college when the world kind of went digital. We went from not having the internet part of our day to day to having the internet.
Yeah.
And there were so many companies that I grew up as a kid going to, and they used to say, we don't do the internet. It's not for us. Well, they're all extinct. They don't exist.
There you go.
The internet erased them. Blockbuster's the best example. They should have been Netflix.
Yeah.
And so as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a person, if you're not willing to change and grow, then you're going to become extinct like the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And so for me, using those 5 pillars, those 5 core values has allowed me to gain success in so many areas, knowing that I may suck today, but I'm going to get 1% better and I'm going to have fun doing it.
Yeah.
I will change if necessary. And if I have to change and start over, I'm going to go back through those same principles. Mm-hmm. Immediate decisive action. I'm changing. I don't know how to do what I'm about to do, but I'm going to do it. And then 1% better. Just these little goals, these things that I can do and see progress. Because why we quit workout plans, businesses, relationships is we're not seeing progress. Mm-hmm. The problem is we don't identify progress. Mm-hmm. Our progress is I'm here and I want to climb Mount Everest and I didn't climb Mount Everest in a week. Well, but I did take 10 steps. That's progress. So if I shrink down what I'm looking for to just simple micro goals of win the day, get 1% better today, I'm going to gain momentum, I'm going to win stack, and I'm going to get that confidence to keep going.
Hey everyone, just wanted to take a second to say how incredibly grateful we are for all of our listeners, and I want to hear from you. Your feedback is greatly appreciated, and it will only help us make this show better for you. So any questions you have, click the link in the show notes below and let us know. Now, back to the episode.
So how many, for Kaizen particularly with getting 1% better, because I notice myself, like, I struggle, like, if I have more than a certain amount of things I want to get 1% better at, like, things will just fall behind. Like, do you have a certain number of things that it's like, okay, if I can get 3 things 1% better every day, that's, like, my perfect number? Or, like, how do you quantify, like, how much you can realistically get done at a time moving forward?
Well, I think I want to get 1% better at everything I do.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't mean I'm going to get 1% better at brushing my teeth.
Yeah.
You know, like I might become better at brushing my teeth, but I'm not striving for that. But anything that I'm actually striving to do, like, can I be 1% better as a friend to my friends? Can I be 1% better as a husband to my wife? Can I be 1% better as a dad to my kid? Sometimes to them, they don't notice it because it's only 1%.
Yeah.
And they feel like I haven't changed and grown, but I am. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
And I'm striving for it. Doesn't mean it happens. It's the goal. The goal is 1%. Now, obviously, in the easier things to quantify, if you're in business, can I make one more sales call? Can I spend 5, can I read one more page than I read yesterday? I read 11 pages yesterday. Can I read 12 because I'm learning something? Or I'm writing a book. Can I write an extra sentence today? 1 sentence a day. Can I keep doing that? And get my book 1% better. So the goal, intent, and spirit is to get 1% better at everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you stay stagnant for too long and you realize, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm not improving. But if you're not improving, it's on you. Like, we all can improve.
Yeah.
And that's where that personal commitment to self-improvement and to be the best version of ourselves, that's how we start to shine. That's how it all starts to happen. And then it becomes like all things. You just start realizing you're getting a lot better. Because sometimes you make 5% gains, 10% gains.
Yeah.
And that made up for the last 6 days where I didn't do anything.
There you go. Yeah, my mom, growing up, she always said, be the best you can be. And that's always, like, stuck with me. And sometimes I feel like I try to push it and try to do way too much. But, like, just trying to be the best version of myself and whatever that takes shape is something that, like, I keep that in the back of my mind. So I think that's kind of similar to Kaizen. Like,
it is.
If you're getting 1% better every day, you're doing the best that, like, yourself can do. So.
And you'll just naturally do it. Because the best you today at something, and I don't know what hobby you may be working on. What's one of your hobbies?
Hobby. Honestly, it's a little bit stagnant right now, but I'm excited to graduate because I think I'll have a better space for it. But I love to sew. I like to make clothes. So right now, I don't have, like, a desk that works for it. But especially during, like, COVID quarantine, I was sewing every day. And so I could see that progress.
I bet you saw the progress.
Yeah. So that was cool. And I really want to get back to that. And so, yeah, the 1% progress, I can see that when I was doing that. I'm trying to get better at working out because I try to do entrepreneurial stuff on the side. I'm in Zip Launchpad, so I feel like I'm doing school and doing a lot of stuff, and then trying to, like, incorporate being more active into my lifestyle is a big thing for me right now. So I'm taking a paddleboarding yoga class through the SDSU, like, it's like I want to say PE. It's not physical education, but we take it as a class and you get credit through Mission Bay Aquatic Center. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's been fun. So I think for me right now, I'm, like, also trying to get better at yoga and better at balance because I'm pretty tall. I'm 6 foot tall. So getting better at balance is something that I really want to do, both in, like, a mental, like, personal way and then also just in a physical way. So I would say that that's another place I can apply the Kaizen 1% better. And then back to the first core value. It reminded me of this book I had to read for class once. It's called What I Wish I Knew When I Was 20. And it talked about, like, just the opportunity of meeting new people. And even in places, like, you wouldn't expect, just being open to that opportunity. I remember one time, it was during COVID too, but, like, I met someone picking out ranch in, like, a grocery store. I think we were talking about, like, avocados. And that was just a random, and nothing really came from that. But I think it was a good opportunity to remind myself that, like, those random conversations or even just putting yourself out there to people and those new experiences, like, can bring a lot of fruition. So yeah, I can really relate to that. And so I like that that's a core value, especially in Everable, because it's important. And I think that when people are having fun too, I think it goes kind of hand in hand. Maybe it's just because I'm a social person, but, like, meeting new people and having fun, it's it's really important.
Well, having fun will keep you sticking to it. Because if
Yeah.
you're not having fun, you're going to quit.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
And so and I'll just hit on this because I get asked or cornered a lot on, well, how do you have fun sitting in traffic, driving to a job that maybe not be the perfect job for you?
Yeah.
The answer is, can you find fun in the process? Maybe you enjoy your coworkers.
Yeah.
Maybe you enjoy the podcast time to listen. I used to drive to Irvine every day.
Oh my goodness.
And
That's
from
hard.
San Diego when I had one of my companies and we opened an office. And
Yeah.
for a while, I hated the drive.
Yeah.
But then I started to enjoy the fact that I'm driving up the coast, looking at the ocean, listening to some cool podcasts or some cool, back then, sports radio.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. I wish I was home with my family, or I wish I was already at work when I was on my way there and I didn't have to sit in the car. But
Yeah.
once I switched the perspective to having fun in the process, it went by quick and I was able to do it. And it wasn't so bad. And it no longer became the thing I was complaining about.
Yeah. That's a good way. That's a good way to reframe it. Because
Yeah.
definitely nowadays I feel like I'm getting stuck in traffic. I got stuck in like 3 hours of traffic coming to like Orange County because the 78 freeway is closed right now because there's a pothole. So the only way in and out of Orange County and San Diego right now is the 5. And so if there's any mishaps on the road, it's 3 hours in and
Yes.
out. So I need that because I'm from Orange County, Huntington Beach area, and my dad actually works in Irvine, so I'm familiar
cool.
with the area. So yeah, so I don't go home too often, but when I am, like that drive, sometimes I need to be more present with it. So it's a good way to reframe it. I'm curious, working for Everbowl, I know you have some other companies that you're working on too. What does a typical day look like for you? Is it always different? Is it pretty consistent?
Very different.
Okay.
A lot of travel. I'm probably gone on average 2 days a week.
Mhm.
Meetings, content, stores, investors, opportunities, customers. I'm the leader of 4 companies, but fortunately I have an incredible team and the team can run a lot of the day to day. I go where the opportunity is, and the opportunity might just be for a meeting to meet somebody. So I really spend a lot of time top of funnel focusing on how can I create opportunity, and it's a sales-minded approach, but I'm just out there because I don't know what I don't know till I know it. And I don't know who I'm going to meet until I meet them. And I don't know what I'm going to get from it until it happens. And sometimes it's a lot of travel and a lot of effort for very little gain.
Yeah.
But then you go through these windows where it's like all that activity I was doing last year yielded so much next year. And it's planting the seeds. It's like farming.
Mhm.
So I spent a lot of time doing that stuff. I used to spend a lot of time in my stores working in Everbowl. Now it's much more focused on WeBuild and Unevolved Products and now Unevolved Studios in the show.
That's awesome.
And kind of growing that stuff.
Yeah. So with doing so much, because I feel like I'm pretty similar. Like I love to plant my seeds. I love to go out there and do a lot of stuff. And then I have people in my life, maybe mentors or roommates or people that know me really well, say, you're doing too much. Chill out. What's your experience? Because then I do find like some things don't bring fruition, but then other things I'm like, okay, I saw why that was so important for me to do at the time. I guess like, how do you filter that? Do you just do everything, or are there ways that you help yourself filter like what seeds you're going to put out there? Because that's definitely something I feel like I need to hone a little bit more, and I'm trying to figure that out.
It's strategic activity. So I have my goal.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to do. I'm trying to grow WeBuild. I'm trying to grow Everbowl. I'm trying to grow my personal brand, and I'm trying to grow Unevolved Products. If the activity that I'm about to potentially do doesn't seem to solve one of those 4 things, I won't do it.
Okay.
But if you called me and said, hey, Jeff, can you meet me in Chicago tomorrow for an opportunity to meet so-and-so, and that so-and-so maybe can introduce me to someone who may help one of those 3 initiatives, I'm on the next plane to Chicago.
There you go.
If it's just to go to the Chicago Bulls game, well, yes, I want to do that, but I am so busy and I have to make those decisions.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I look at how it helps me with my main thing, not knowing it's going to move the needle, but it's not 1% for me isn't the result. It's the process. Am I doing the process to keep growing these things? My responsibility as a leader, and most leaders of companies fail to understand, as the founder, my job is to make sure that there is opportunity for us to succeed.
Absolutely.
I have to find it. It's not just opening another Everbowl. Like that just doesn't happen. Like so many people say, how do you sell so many franchises? Well, I'm out there meeting a ton of people. And 9 out of 10 people I meet maybe aren't franchisees, but that 1 out of 10 is.
Yeah.
I spoke today at a conference this morning with a bunch of founders and CEOs. None of them probably were franchisees. I still talked about what I had to talk about. Afterwards, one guy came up to me. He's interested in opening franchises.
There you go.
So I didn't expect it, but I knew that I was meeting people who are in the right circle of what I want. And so that's kind of how I use the filter. And I say yes to almost everything.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like you. I'd rather be too busy than not busy enough.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have opportunity than have zero.
And I feel like it makes life fun too. Like I see all the busyness on my schedule, but like the way I operate, at least I'm like, okay, well, it's all fun things. Like even if it's not traditional kind of fun, it's fun work stuff, or I'm pitching this, or I'm doing something random. Like it's not necessarily random. Or it might be work related, but I still find it as like a bit of fun. So yeah, kind of similar in that way. I'm curious. I was looking. You have quite a few locations on college campuses or in college areas. What prompted that? Do you feel like, I know that you have like a mission to help people eat healthier, and that's really important. So was that part of the reason you wanted to be on college campuses, or did you just find that was like a good niche for Everbowl?
Truthfully, the number one customer of ours is young adults.
Yeah.
That 16 to 25-year-old, that's our best demographic. So I'm a businessman first.
Yeah.
It makes sense to put my business in front of as many of my customers as possible. And I went to college.
Yeah.
And when I was in college and I had the meal plan, I remember the restaurants I used to eat at. Okay. And I ate there a lot. And for a lot of and I was fortunate to have a meal plan. And so it didn't cost me any money, and it never had to make a choice between party and outside spending and food.
Yeah.
So it just made a lot of sense for Everbowl to be on college campuses. Simultaneously, it's good for you.
Yeah.
So if I can help more college kids eat less McDonald's and less Chipotle and more Everbowl, good.
There you
go. We're doing good. So it was business first, health second. But I think college campuses is a great avenue for Everbowl.
Yeah, awesome. I'm also curious. So I'm a big acai bowl fan. You do the scoops versus like the blended. What was the choice with that? Or did it used to be blended? Or like how did you make like some of those decisions on like even what kind of fruits you carry, other like toppings? How does like that process go for choosing those items?
So we started blending.
Okay.
That was our only way.
Yeah.
We were never going to scoops.
Yeah.
And then life and business change. We had COVID happened.
Yeah.
And we had to scale. And we had equipment issues. We couldn't get the equipment to blend our product the way we needed to blend it. We don't blend it. We never blended it the way others do, where it's soupy.
Yeah.
You could turn our bowls upside down over your head and it wouldn't fall.
Yeah.
Like they were awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Wendy's, or what is it, Dairy Queen style, where they do it outside the window?
Yeah, it was called the Jeff test. Like
that's
say,
awesome.
put it over your head. And you had to have confidence that you made it right.
Oh my goodness.
That was our style. So we always made it feel like the same texture and consistency, but we ran into supply chain issues where we couldn't get the equipment. And then we couldn't get all the products. And then we had franchisees, and then training became a problem because we had different equipment and we weren't able to recreate our bowl our way. And so we had to make a business choice. And that's hard for entrepreneurs. It's hard for leaders, that as you grow and scale, sometimes you have to change your business in ways that you didn't want to for the betterment of more.
Yeah.
If I wanted to just keep 8, 10, 12, 15 stores of my own in San Diego, I could have done this forever. I never needed to do it.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because all the other acai chains that do blend have like 5 locations, because I was curious about that. And
it's very hard to scale it.
Yeah.
And
it seems very difficult to do.
And then you eventually go to the blended. So instead of using a store-bought blended version, we make our own.
Cool.
So it's still our own. We still pride ourselves on having it be our own.
Yeah.
But we're just pre-blending it for you.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So, was there a moment where you feel like things started to like click, where you were like, this is really like, I guess, how do I explain it? Like, you really felt like you had made it or something? Or do you feel like you're still in that process? Now that you're running 4 different types of companies, like, do you feel like you've like made it, or do you feel like there's still more out there?
No, I never feel like we've made it. I always feel like we're about to lose it.
Yeah.
I always have this anxiety that tomorrow someone's going to come out and beat us.
Yeah.
Or the company's going to stumble. That's true of all my companies I've ever had. I think that's what drives me every day, that I don't sit back. It's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing towards success, and it's a curse towards relaxation.
Yeah.
I can't shut it off because I'm always concerned. I'm always like, what's next and what's coming? And we need to keep our foot on the gas.
Yeah.
So
what's next for more locations? Do you want to move more into like California, or is it just based on like what franchisees want to do? How do you plan on expanding for both your construction company and for Everbowl?
For Everbowl, it's franchisees across the country. So we have our states defined. We're in 27 states total. 18 of them are open. So those are our 27 states where we're going to expand, and we'll continue to expand. For WeBuild, we'll go where the customers are. We're building a WeBuild facility in Vegas, and we're looking in the southeast towards Atlanta to open another one.
That's awesome.
And that's to serve these customers and these clients and really grow this thing. It's going to take an investment. It's going to take growth. But this is the part that I get excited about, where I get to go back to the basics myself.
Yeah.
And I get to be a startup again. I get to really focus on those first challenges again, where it's like, no, we're going to solve these problems.
Yeah.
And that's really what lights me up.
Yeah.
So I'm genuinely excited about that.
Yeah. Okay. So last 2 questions. My first one would be, what if you could give like one piece of advice to entrepreneurs? What would be your biggest piece of advice?
Just one piece of advice.
Well, you can give me 2 or 3 if you have a couple. I'd love to hear it.
No. I would say that you must be crystal clear on what you're going for.
Okay.
When I started my first company, I just said I wanted a successful company, and I didn't have a plan. The challenge is there's so many things that can come at you, and it is a nonstop barrage of problem solving. You are a problem solver as an entrepreneur. That is what you do. You are not a restaurateur. You are not a construction. You're not in marketing. You are a problem solver.
Yeah.
And so if you don't put on that hard hat and recognize and embrace the fact that you will get hit with 1 million problems, and once you solve those, you'll get 1 million more, you're not ready for the undertaking. So you better know where you're going so you can start to filter your problems and solutions to get you there. Mm-hmm. And be ready to hunker down.
Yeah, that's awesome. So my last question is, what's next for you? What's your goals for the next 5 years?
It's
a little bigger than Kaizen, I know.
Yeah. No, my goal is to continue to grow Everbowl and make it into where it's in all 48 states and everyone has access to superfoods, and we make that a household name. For WeBuild, it's to be the premier, and we want to be the best at scaling brands, both retail and restaurants, that have brick and mortar. Yeah. So if we can become the world's best at that, that's the goal for that company. Yeah. For the studio, and for the studio and the show, I'm just trying to build the personal brand. I have a book launching. By the time this airs, the book's live. So, yes, please go and buy it off Amazon. Or if you want help in relationship capital, you can text Jeff to 33777 and get a free PDF that will help you network to millions and use some tactics I've used. Sorry, that was a little pitch, but always working.
As it should be.
Yeah, but I'm building a personal brand. I'm trying to help inspire and elevate entrepreneurs like yourself and people who are trying to be successful. I've found success by following formulas. Yeah. And my podcast show, the Jeff Fenster Show, is really about the success formula. It's helping other people follow the same path and the same blueprint and recipe that other successful people have followed. So you can be successful too, because I think everyone can be successful and everyone can be extraordinary. We just have to figure out what extra stuff to do. And so I'm on a mission to inspire and help.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me today. I had a great time talking to you, and excited to see everything that Everbowl does, and especially WeBuild. I think it's cool, especially with coming out of the pandemic. Brick and mortar is struggling, so that's going to be really exciting to see continue to grow. So.
Well, thank you for saying yes to coming here and doing this taking that initiative, and for graduating college.
Thank you.
That is a major accomplishment.
I'm excited.
And as I said to you off air, anything I can do to help you, I'm always available. So
appreciate it.
Take me up on it. Ask. I will do my best to help.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Georgie.
Thank you so much for listening. If you're looking to level up your relationship capital game, then take a minute and text the word Jeff to 33777 for a free copy of my Network to Millions playbook. The link will also be provided in the show notes below. See you guys next time.